Hey guys, and welcome to this video on Transformers 7 and G.I Joe crossover. If you don't want to know any more about the Transformers Rise of the Beast movie, there will be spoilers in this video, just warning you now, guys. So, if you haven't yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, stay up to date with all the movie news we have going on around here. So, we're going to jump into the Screen Rant article here. Transformers 7 surprised G.I Joe actor, details making of the pivotal crossover ending. So, Transformers Rise of the Beast surprised G.I Joe actor Michael Kelly, details making of the pivotal crossover ending between Hasbro brands. So yeah, I recently watched Transformers and I thought it was a really fun movie. I'm a diehard Transformers movie fan. Like I love all the Transformers movies. I know they're universally hated. Most people like the first one, but sort of universally despise the other ones. But I kind of like all the films. I think they're great. And seeing the end scene where the main character is going for a job interview, and then in the job interview, the guy who's interviewing him hands him a card, and it says GI Joe on the card, which is pretty cool. So it kind of confirmed the crossover of the two brands, which is really cool to see. So, Transformers Rise of the Beast actor Michael Kelly opens up about the surprising G.I. Joe crossover ending, explaining how the big end crossover between Hasbro's popular brands came together. The seventh movie in the Transformers franchise, Rise of the Beast, continues the story of the established Bumblebee soft reboot continuity, as the Autobots face the Cybertronian friends and foes alongside planet-devouring threats from across the stars. The G.I. Joe movie franchise was inspired by Hasbro's military sci-fi toy line, beginning with 2009's G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra, before being followed with 2013's G.I. Joe Retaliation and 2021's Snake Eyes. I quite enjoyed Snake Eyes. Snake Eyes was great. The combat was great. You know, the martial arts and the fight scenes were great. The only downside to that movie was there was a lot of shaky cam, and there was sometimes where like the camera was shaking so much and you couldn't really see what was going on very well. But other than that, it was not a bad movie. So, following the surprise debut of G.I. Joe in Transformers Rise of the Beast's final moments, Agent Burke actor Kelly spoke to Collider about how the crossover between the two of Hasbro's most iconic franchises came to be. The actor revealed that while director Stephen Caple Jr. was unsure whether they could legally use G.I. Joe characters in the movie, he thought it would be fun to tie the worlds together in what would originally intended to be a post-credit scene. Check out Kelly's full explanation below. So he goes on to say, quote, Stephen Caple Jr. called me. He then pitched to me what this was in the film, which originally was going to be a post-credit scene. And then they ended up making it in the last scene of the film for whatever reason. When he pitched it to me, he was like, and then there's this whole G.I. Joe world that we're not sure that we have the rights to yet, but we really want it to tie it into two worlds. And then I just think it would be a really cool idea. When we shot it with a couple of different cards that I gave him. The one that you see is not the only one that we shot. So yeah, he's talking about at the end of the movie, like I was saying, guys, there's a like an interview scene when the main character he's having an interview with this mysterious character when he goes for a job, and the interviewer says that he knows all about him, he knows about the Transformers, and then he hands him a business card that's got GI Joe written on it. So there was multiple different cards, obviously, and the one that's in the film is the one that they just ultimately decided to shoot with. So yeah, so G.I. Joe surprising Transformers Rise of the Beast cameo marks a major shift in Hasbro's film franchise plans. So yeah, it's really exciting going forward, guys. They're obviously going to try and cross these two franchises over, but they were saying that obviously there's like legalities of using different characters. So whether they have that sorted out now, or whether they're going to slowly try and tie it in over the next few years, depending on which characters they can and can't use, or things like that. The legalities of Hollywood is quite complicated, so I'm not even going to pretend to know what the legalities of this are, guys. But Transformers and G.I. Joe has a long history of crossovers long before Rise of the Beast, where they first thwarted a scheme between Cobra and the Decepticons to hijack a mobile nuclear power plant in the four-issue 1986 comic miniseries G.I. Joe and the Transformers. More series were released across numerous publishers, including IDW's larger Revolution storyline in 2016, that established a shared community between Transformers, G.I. Joe, and other Hasbro properties. Transformers crossovers with G.I. Joe have also reflected in Hasbro's toy lines, including the most recent sets released under the Transformers Collaborative subline that saw Megatron, Bumblebee, Soundwave become iconic G.I. Joe and Cobra vehicles. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So obviously there's precedence within the sort of Hasbro universe for crossing these franchises over. They've done it in comics, they've done it in their toy lines, and now they kind of want to make the leap to the big screen, the live action, mixing these two franchises together. And I mean, if they've got some really cool stories in the comics that they can draw from, inspiration that they can draw from, it seems like a great idea to me. I mean, there's no reason why they shouldn't do this. So, in terms of cinematic adventures, both the Transformers and G.I. Joe franchises have taken a long time to cross paths. While Hasbro shared a cinematic universe featuring G.I. Joe, Micronauts, Visionaries, Mask, Rom, and the Space Knight had been in development since 2015. The Transformers franchise has been excluded due to Michael Bay helming the writers' room. Sorry, with up to 14 potential movie ideas. 14 potential. So this is another case of Hollywood, getting overconfident about stuff. Release a couple of movies, see how they do financially and critically before you start pumping out loads of ideas and movies, because you don't want to get overconfident and just sort of plummet your franchise into the ground. You don't want to do that. So, but with the Transformers franchise undergoing a soft reboot and 2021 Snake Eyes not performing well for Paramount, Rise of the Beasts marked an opportunity to try and bring Hasbro's movie ambitions to life. Despite their shared history, Transformers Rise of the Beasts and G.I. Joe's cameo in the moment that took audiences by surprise. It definitely took me by surprise. I was not expecting that. As soon as I saw the card with G.I. Joe on it, I was like, no way they're going to cross these over on the big screen. That's so cool. So while G.I. Joe has so far been unsuccessful in establishing a film franchise, their surprise appearance reveals the full ambitious scope of the rebooted Transformers franchise. While Capel Jr. may have not meant for it to be a fun nod, audiences will be keen to see if the agency returns in future movies. Meant for it to be a fun nod. Sorry, guys, I got a really dry mouth. Like my room is really hot. My computer's like a blooming like an atomic reactor. It pumps out so much heat, and my room is really warm. So I got a dry mouth. Do apologize. But yeah, guys. So that's exactly what I was saying as well, guys. So is it just a cameo role? Is it just a fun nod to GI Joe, like a crossover thing, or have they got actual solid plans to cross these franchises over and like properly interlink GI Joe into Transformers going forward? Because that would be pretty cool. Like Snake Eyes fighting alongside, I don't know, Optimus Prime. That would be really cool to watch that, or even potentially fighting each other at some point. That's the way these films kind of tend to go, isn't it? You have the two main characters from two different franchises. They fight off against each other, and then they learn to team up after. So but who knows? So yeah, it's really cool, guys. Having this kind of crossover of these two major franchises for the Hasbro line, and yeah, let me know what you guys think about this. Jump down to the comment section. Are you excited to see GI Joe cross with Transformers, or do you not really care about either of these franchises anymore? Let me know what you think, guys, and I will see you soon.